Most of America feels like a trap right now. Housing prices up, grocery prices up, insurance up, and somehow you are still getting less for more every single year. But what if I told you there are towns in this country doing the exact opposite? Places where the median home price is under $100,000, the cost of living runs 30% below the national average, and your paycheck or your retirement check actually stretches the way it was supposed to. Real towns, real homes, and no, they are not the ones you are picturing. Number 10. Ponca City, Oklahoma. There is an oil town in northern Oklahoma where the houses still sell for less than what most people spend on a new truck. Ponca City sits about 90 miles north of Oklahoma City, right at the edge of the Osage Hills. It grew up around oil. ConocoPhillips got its start here, and that history is still everywhere. According to Kiplinger, total housing costs in Ponca City run about 30% below the national average. The median home price sits around $135,000. What nobody tells you is this town still has an anchor, a refinery, a regional medical center, and a downtown that has not been hollowed out the way you would expect. A local put it simply, out here, your dollar does what it was supposed to do. Picture pulling into your driveway after work, the Osage Hills glowing orange at sunset, knowing your mortgage costs less than most people pay for a car lease. The catch: summers are hot and you are in tornado country. But if you are retired or working remotely, that catch does not touch you. That is Ponca City. The next one sits deeper in the Ozarks, and the prices go even lower. Number 9. Poplar, Bluff, Missouri. In the boot heel of Missouri, there is a town most people drive straight past on the way to somewhere else. That is the mistake. Poplar Bluff sits at the edge of the Ozark foothills, surrounded by rivers and national forest. According to Zillow, the typical home value here is around $107,000, and there are listings right now under $60,000. What nobody tells you is why this town stays invisible. It is not on any coast. It is not near a major airport. But the Mingo National Wildlife Refuge is 20 minutes away. There is a regional hospital, a community college, and a downtown that still has local shops. A resident once said, "The best part of living here is nobody is trying to sell you on it. It just works." Picture a morning on the Black River with a fishing line in the water, knowing your house is paid off and your grocery bill is half of what it costs in the suburbs. The catch: jobs outside healthcare and retail are limited. The reframe: if your income does not depend on the local economy, that is exactly why the price is what it is. Next up, a Virginia town making a comeback nobody expected. Number 8. Martinsville, Virginia. If you told someone 10 years ago that a former furniture factory town in Southern Virginia would become an arts destination, they would have laughed. But that is exactly what happened. Martinsville sits in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, about an hour south of Roanoke. It built its identity on furniture and textiles, and when those industries left, the town reinvented itself. According to Realtor.com, the median home price here hovers around $120,000. What nobody tells you is this town now has more art galleries per capita than most cities 5 times its size. The Piedmont Arts Center draws visitors from across the state. The Virginia Museum of Natural History is headquartered here. A local artist said, "We did not wait for someone to save us. We just started building." Picture a brick downtown with galleries, coffee shops, and mountain views, where your mortgage is under $700 a month. The catch: job growth is slow, and the nearest big city is an hour away. But for a retiree or a remote worker, Martinsville is one of the most underpriced places in Virginia, and the next town comes with no state income tax. Number 7. Wichita Falls, Texas. Most people hear Texas and think Austin or Dallas, million-dollar zip codes and traffic that never ends. But 4 hours northwest of Dallas, there is a city that feels like a different state. Wichita Falls is anchored by Midwestern State University and Shepherd Air Force Base. The population is just over 100,000, and the cost of living sits in the top 2% most affordable in the country, according to U.S. News. The median home price is around $148,000, and because it is Texas, there is no state income tax. What nobody tells you is, this town has over 20 miles of paved trail called the Circle Trail, looping through parks and along streams. A longtime resident said it plainly: people here are not trying to leave, they are trying to build. Picture riding a bike on a tree-lined trail in December while the rest of the country shovels snow, coming home to a 3-bedroom house that cost less than a studio in most big cities. The catch: summers are brutally hot, and the city is a long drive from major metros. But if you want affordable Texas without the Austin price tag, this is the one most people overlook. The next town brings the best of the outdoors. Number 6. Fort Smith, Arkansas. Right on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, where the Poteau River meets the Arkansas River, sits a town with more history than most people realize. Fort Smith started as a military outpost in 1817, the last stop before Indian Territory. Judge Isaac Parker, the famous hanging judge, held court here. Today it is a city of about 90,000 with a cost of living well below the national average. According to U.S. News, Fort Smith ranks number 8 in the country for affordability, with a median home price around $155,000. What nobody tells you is the outdoor access. The Ozark Highlands Trail is right there. Devil's Den State Park is a 30-minute drive. And the city has been investing in a riverfront trail connecting parks, restaurants, and historic sites. A business owner downtown said, "People discover Fort Smith by accident, and then they never want to leave." Picture walking along the river at sunset, past old brick storefronts, to a restaurant where dinner for 2 costs less than a single entree in most coastal cities. The catch: the economy leans on manufacturing, and summer humidity is real. But if your income is fixed or remote, the low cost of entry here is hard to beat. Number 5. Beckley, West Virginia. This is the one that might surprise you. Most people hear West Virginia and picture coal towns and decline. But Beckley is sitting next to something most of the country still does not know about: the New River Gorge, which became America's newest national park in 2021. Beckley sits at about 2,500 feet of elevation in the Appalachian Plateau, surrounded by forests, whitewater rivers, and some of the best rock climbing on the East Coast. According to Realtor.com, the median home price is approximately $160,000. What nobody tells you is that Beckley is not just a gateway town to a national park. It has a regional medical center, a community college, and a downtown that has been quietly renovating. A local guide said, "People used to pass through here. Now they are coming on purpose." Picture a Saturday morning hike to a gorge overlook, a raft trip in the afternoon, and dinner at a local spot where the check does not make you flinch, all within 15 minutes of your front door. The catch: winters are cold, and the job market outside tourism and healthcare is limited. But if you want to own near a national park without a national park price tag, Beckley is one of the last places where that is still possible. The next one scored the highest quality of life rating among all affordable towns in the country. Number 4. McAllen, Texas. Down in the Rio Grande Valley, at the southern tip of Texas, there is a city that ranked higher for quality of life than any other affordable place in America, according to U.S. News. McAllen has about 145,000 people and sits minutes from the Mexican border. The median home price is around $170,000, more than $200,000 below the national median, and again, no state income tax. What nobody tells you is McAllen is one of the best birdwatching destinations in the country. Hundreds of species. The World Birding Center draws visitors from around the world, and South Padre Island, beach, Gulf water, warm sand, is about an hour's drive. A retiree who moved from the Midwest said, "I came for the price, I stayed for the weather and the people." Picture a January morning in the 70s, fresh fruit from the local market, and your total housing cost under $1,000 a month. The catch: summer heat is intense, and the metro is somewhat isolated. The reframe: if you are retired and want warm weather and low costs without the Florida price tag, McAllen quietly delivers all of it. The next town has prices that are genuinely hard to believe. Number 3. Moberly, Missouri. Halfway between St. Louis and Kansas City, there is a railroad town most of the country has never heard of, and that is exactly why the prices are what they are. Moberly was built on the Wabash Railroad in the 1800s. The tracks still run through the center of town. According to Realtor.com, the median home price sits around $95,000. What nobody tells you is this town still has an anchor. Moberly Area Community College draws students from across the region. There is a regional hospital, a municipal airport, and a downtown slowly filling back in with small businesses. A shop owner said, "People are discovering they do not need a big city to have a good life." Picture a two-story craftsman home on a shaded street, fully paid off, with a porch wide enough for 2 chairs and a dog, and the entire house cost less than a year's rent in most American cities. The catch: the population has been declining for decades, and nightlife is not a word anyone uses here. But if you are a cash buyer or a retiree who wants to own outright and live debt-free, Moberly is one of the most genuine deals left in America. And yes, the next two are even better. Number 2. Enid, Oklahoma. When U.S. News ranked the most affordable places to live in America for 2026, Enid came in at number 2 in the entire country. That is not a niche ranking. Over 800 cities, and a town of 52,000 people in northwestern Oklahoma almost took the crown. The median home price is around $143,000. Median rent is just $647 a month. According to the data, Enid residents spend only 12.5% of their income on housing, one of the lowest ratios in the nation. What nobody tells you is why. Vance Air Force Base is the largest employer in the region and brings steady, recession-resistant income to the local economy. There is also a growing healthcare sector and a community college that keeps the town younger than you would expect. A military spouse stationed here said, "We have been posted all over the country, and Enid is the only place where we actually saved money." Picture pulling into your garage after picking up groceries, which also cost less here, knowing your housing cost is what some people in big cities pay for parking. The catch: Enid is remote. Oklahoma City is 90 minutes south. But that remoteness is the reason the prices exist. If you do not need a big city nearby, Enid is one of the most mathematically affordable places in the United States. And now, number 1. Number 1. Decatur, Illinois. When U.S. News ranked the most affordable places to live in America, one city took the top spot, and it is a city most Americans cannot point to on a map. Decatur, Illinois. Population about 85,000. Sitting in central Illinois, surrounded by farmland, connected by highways to Springfield, Champaign, and Bloomington. The median home value here is approximately $89,855. That is not a down payment in most cities. That is the entire house. According to the data, Decatur residents spend only 14% of their annual income on homeownership. What nobody tells you is why Decatur can sustain prices this low without collapsing. One word: Archer Daniels Midland. ADM, one of the largest food processing companies in the world, is headquartered here since 1969. That single company anchors the local economy the way a university anchors a college town. There is also Caterpillar Manufacturing and a strong logistics corridor along the interstate. A lifelong resident said, "People assume cheap means broken, but that is not what this is. This is just a town the coasts never bothered to look at." Picture a 3-bedroom home on a tree-lined street, a 10-minute commute, a yard your kids can play in, and your monthly mortgage under $500. The catch: Central Illinois winters are no joke, and the town lacks the cultural scene of a college town. But the reframe is everything. If you are a cash buyer, a retiree, or a young family trying to break into homeownership without crushing debt, Decatur is not a consolation prize. It is the number 1 most affordable place to live in America, and almost nobody is talking about it. So why are these towns so affordable? 3 forces. First, the industries that built them: oil, coal, manufacturing, railroads, either left or shrank, pulling housing prices down. Second, the cost of living in the Midwest and the South runs 10 to 30% below the national average. Lower taxes, cheaper groceries, smaller utility bills, and it compounds. Third, the people who benefit most, retirees, remote workers, cash buyers, do not need the local job market. They bring their income with them, and that turns every one of these forces from a problem into an opportunity. Whether you are planning a move, thinking about retirement, or just tired of watching your rent climb every year, I hope this list opened a few doors. Those are 10 American towns where an affordable life is still completely real. Subscribe so you catch the next one. Drop a comment and tell me which town surprised you the most. We will see you in the next one.